rebuild of the favorites. We here for the latest. South side or the north side, not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams. Both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball, but we don't pull the wrong strings. Yeah. It's that time of the year now. Wrigley or Ganty, so the whole league that we hear now. New show with a new mood. Discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
What's going on, everybody? This is Pinwheels and Ivy. This is the... Oh, look at the fancy graphic. Did you just make that today?
I did. I made sure to add that. I'm like, I didn't spend like 10 minutes cutting and pasting shit.
That is fancy. Well, this is Pinwheels and Ivy, now equipped with fancy graphics, apparently.
Don't hype it up too much, because don't zoom in too close on that graphic.
Why? I'm zoomed in. It looks all right.
Okay, all right.
So this is the pre-show. We're just downloading it. We're just retweeting it, getting it out there. We're gonna start the show here in just a minute. If you're joining us, make sure you're joining us on the YouTube page, and if you're here anyways, hit the subscribe button. And if you're feeling crazy, hit the little bell, and you'll get a notification every Wednesday night at 8:00, letting you know what's up. Yeah, this is gonna be a little bit of a group therapy session type deal. So we'll get into all that. I'm trying to stall a little bit for K-Fids, but he's running a little bit late.
Let's see, any update?
Vegas traffic. He said 5 minutes, so we'll see what's going on. But yeah, just hang with us here for just a minute here, everybody. Actually, fuck it. Let's just get started.
For the people in the chat, start throwing out any questions you got.
Any questions you have,
any observations,
anything
all
you
your
want
feelings.
Anything you want us to talk about. We're in the trust tree with the nest and the birds. So go ahead and throw out anything that you want us to talk about, anything that's going on here, and we will make sure we answer any and all questions in the chat tonight. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just get going. He'll be here in a minute. Ready, all?
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, October 14th, and there is no White Sox game today. You have found the Pinwheels and Ivy. I said that's so sad. You have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I'm your host, Matt Zawoski, a.k.a. Southside Zoe, a.k.a. Father Zoe. And with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
I just want to get this out of the way right away. I've never been happier to have my prediction wrong. Fuck the Brewers.
Fair enough. And as always, the coach, K-Fids, Kevin Fiddler, who will be joining us momentarily. We got a lot to talk about this show. White Sox very, very disappointingly exit in the ALDS. We're going to talk about what happened there, and then basically what the offseason is going to look like. We're really going to lean heavy on the chat tonight, too. We want to hear from you. So if you're watching us live on Wednesday night on YouTube, again, subscribe to the page. If you're on Facebook, you can like the page. You can turn on the little notifications, but you should really go and subscribe on YouTube. That'd be really cool. And get in that comment section. It might take us a minute because we got some shit we got to say, but we will get to everything in the comment section tonight. So all that being said, let's tap this keg. As always, this show is brought to you by us. So go buy some merch linked at the top of the website, type of the Twitter page. There's also a link that you can go ahead and contribute. We've already gotten an insane amount of very generous contributions, which I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you so much for all of that. It's been kind of humbling and took a step back, like, holy shit, people are actually digging what we're doing. We can address this question right away, right off the bat, because it's good. Thomas, thank you guys. Just found you guys this season. Do you do a lot of all-season content? Thomas, you can't get rid of us if you tried.
No.
We did a show every week, even during the lock, like when COVID was blocking stuff out. We do a show almost every week. Maybe in the off season we'll skip a week here and there, but
Thomas, tell us who your favorite free agent is, and we'll do 20 misleading headlines every week for him.
Easily. Yeah, we love to start rumors on the show just for fun. But yeah, we got a lot going on. You know, should we just dive into it all? We should just dive into it.
I mean, yeah, we just have to. It's been over 24 hours now since they lost.
I want to start this off by making this very, very clear. I like that, Thomas.
There we go.
Shout out to the White Sox.
Thomas, go back in the library. I think there is an episode where we had an entire episode about what it would take to have Mike Trout to the White Sox and the Cubs.
Yep. I do want to make this very clear as our resident diehard White Sox fan on the show, as the guy that rides and dies with this team. I'm not mad right now. Haven't been mad. Was never mad. Just extremely disappointed. I can say that now because I'm a dad. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And I think that I know it's cliche and I know it's corny and it's like a joke, but I feel like that is like the perfect way to describe what happened to the end of this White Sox season. I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. And so just to recap, because that's what we do on this show, the White Sox are done for the 2021 season, losing in the ALDS to the Houston Astros 3-1. It never really felt close. Houston won the first 2 games pretty convincingly in Houston. White Sox took game 3 in a blowout fashion. Game 3 was an awesome game. And then game 4, the elimination game, Houston got a lead. Some things didn't go the White Sox way, and the brakes just fell off. And Houston ended up just completely smoking them. And the series was finished with an exclamation point by that little person just hitting a 3-run tank off of Hendricks. And it was just like, what a way to end it. What a way to end it. So a lot of things went wrong. A lot of things went wrong for the White Sox in this series. A lot of things that – actually, let's go back to what Alex just said in the comments. Again, if you're watching this live, get in the comment section. We're going heavy off the comment section. But what Alex just said is a great point. Alex says Houston is a really, really good team in the last year of their run. Not too much you can do. And I do think that's overlooked. I think a lot of us as White Sox fans were so hyped about this team that we failed to like really realize how good this Houston team. I mean, they have the AL batting champion batting 7th. Trust me, if you watched any of the games, the announcer said it 50 fucking times. But they have the AL batting champion batting 7th. They're like piranhas, man, like the old Twins teams. They just hit, dude. Everyone gets up there. Everyone just hits. And then also their infield, the starting 4 of their infield, I think, and Alex, I know you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they set a record for most consecutive playoff games played together by the 4 same infielders? Like it's something like sick like that. Like, so you have all of that going up against a team where it's a lot of these kids' first playoff experience. You know what I mean? And Houston didn't really have the pitching, but White Sox really didn't have the pitching. And it's just this Houston team, though, every batter that came up was clinch your butt time. You know what I mean? It was just like the only one that you would take a breath on was their catcher, Machete. And he even at the game 4 hit a bullet up the middle to score a run that in a crucial situation. You know what I mean? I mean,
yeah. And I brought it up on the game 3 stream that we were doing at the end of the game. I was like, Maldonado was terrible, and obviously he hit like 1 something in the regular season, but he still had like, double-digit home runs. And even in the first 3 games when he was like 0 for 10, 0 for 12, or whatever it was, he was on fastballs. I know, again, it's gonna be like, yeah, but like he was hitless, but he drove a couple balls deep. And like if you throw a fastball enough and a guy is seeing it, he still has the ability. He's still a major league hitter, and we saw that against Kopech, that big hit when it was still a tight game there, and Kopech couldn't really shut him down.
And I'm not gonna play because I don't know what the copyright rules are. I don't know how that works, but one of my influences, one of the guys I look up to in the podcasting, whatever world, is Lawrence Holmes. I think Lawrence to me is a true OG. I've met Lawrence a million times because of, my cousin and all that shit. But I saw him about 2 years ago at a 108 event, actually. And I was talking to him and I was just like, yeah, I got this pinwheels and ivy going on and all this stuff. And I was like, and then we were talking, I was like, yeah, Lawrence, I'm just trying to be like you, man. And he stopped me. Dead sentence. He stopped me. And he looked me right in the eye. He goes, don't be me. Be better. And I was like, dude, that's such a fucking cool thing to say. Like, holy shit. You know what I mean? I was just like, wow, that's a cool thing to say. But he went on, he was pissed. And I'm not going to recite it word for word, but the point that he made was, and we were talking about this pre-show, me and Aldo, the things that all the White Sox blogs and podcasts and fans on Twitter and everything were pointing out that they were worried about, that the team and other people were telling you don't worry about: the not winning on the road, not beating teams above 500, having shitty defense, not bringing in runners in scoring positions with situational hitting. Like, we were.
You know what? I'm going to play. I think it's pretty good to play. We're going to give credit. Could you hear it right now?
No.
No? Wait, hold on. I think we can play. It's like a 2-minute clip, but keep talking.
But, like, all those things that people were worried about came to fruition in the very first playoff series. The defense was not good. They didn't win on the road. They got smoked by a team over 500, and they left a ton of runners on base. And you add that up, and it's just like, there's your 3-1 exit in the first round. And it is 100% disappointing. I mean, I think, I guess the team over 500 doesn't matter as much, but, and yes, Ralph, 100% in the comment, that is, if this was Pee Wee's Magic Playhouse, that would be the word that everyone goes crazy over.
Are you ready to hear the clip?
That word is walks. Yeah, go ahead.
Championship series, this kind of feels like a failure. Keep that energy, because it was. It wasn't a failure just because they lost the series. It's a failure because of how they lost the series. It's a failure because every time any one of us who had anything to say about the White Sox being like, man, this is weird that they don't play well against good teams, or man, this is weird that they don't win on the road, man, this is weird that they don't really play good defense or have good situational hitting, were shouted down by the people at 35th and Shields who told you, don't worry, once the playoffs start, it's a brand new season. And what happened in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have good defense. They didn't do situational hitting. They didn't beat a good team. We celebrated them winning the division. We did 2 shows celebrating them winning the division. So don't think that that's not valuable. It is. But growth is not linear all the time. You're not entitled to now the next step is winning another game in the playoffs. The next step is them going to the league championship series. You're gonna have players that are gonna grow. Luis Roberts should grow next year. But What about Jose Abreu? Every season is its own entity. And this White Sox team better take some real hard looks at how it's constructed, how it's managed.
Boop.
And be honest. Be honest with yourself. Did you really do all that you could do to make this team better? Because everything that everyone thought, I don't know, when it comes to the White Sox in the playoffs was out there for you and for the nation to see. And what they saw was a team that when they were pushed, they couldn't push back, except for game 3.
They played a good half a game. That's how he finishes it. It's awesome. It's
Lawrence Holmes, 670 to score.
Yeah, Lawrence Holmes, 670 to score. Make sure you find him noon to 2, and he's also the president and CEO of the House of L podcast. Make sure you listen to that as well. I want to give him all the credit in the world for that clip because it was awesome. What up, K-Fids?
Okay, guys.
I mean, Kevin, this is a perfect timing because you tweeted it out the other day, and Lawrence he had the subtle, look at near the end. I want to ask both of you guys, because obviously it's been the biggest storyline outside of the players this entire year. We're waiting for the playoffs. Tony La Russa is managing the moves, the bullpen, the fundamentals. What do you guys got? Because I said I could not believe, or it's not I couldn't believe, because I told you guys Lance Lynn is his boy. And I think, Kevin, you tweeted out that kind of set the tone of game one. You did not go with your best option. And again, it's not like Lucas Giolito like shut them down in game two or anything. But again, it just obviously the White Sox didn't lose because of Tony La Russa or anything he did. The players at the end, they're going to execute. They're not going to execute. But man, it seemed like there's a lot of times in the series that Tony did not put his players in the best spot to succeed.
I mean, you set. I mean, there were some people that were sounding pretty ecstatic about the Lynn starting game one, but I mean, like in the face of so much data that said that it's a horrible idea, it seemed like they forced an issue that kind of, hey, I'll prove you wrong. Like, I'll prove the numbers wrong. We'll find. But it was exactly what it was. He's a guy that pitches directly to the strengths of the Houston Astros, and he got lit. And what did he throw in that game specifically? Wasn't it like the most fastballs thrown in a single game, like, or a percentage of fastballs thrown by a starting pitcher in a playoff game? Like he literally played to like so that right there sets the tone. I don't know what that tells the locker room, but it literally puts you against the 8 ball immediately out of the gate, because that game that you want to steal in the playoffs is that first game, because it's when you're going to catch somebody flat. They're going to balance out usually in game 2. Usually that game 1 is where you can sting somebody. And the White Sox went into Houston literally with a really bad situation to begin with, and they were fucked from the start. Pardon my language. It showed, and that to me, and we've talked on this show a billion times. I told you guys wait till October to give your criticism. At least for me, I'll wait till October to give my criticisms of Tony La Russa, because really what mattered to me was October for Tony La Russa. The regular season, you get there and then you play, and everyone has a chance, but. That decision right there, I do think he made some really good decisions in the face of criticism, like starting Lurie, where everyone was crapping the bed because Lurie started, and then he hits the game-changing home run in game 3 or whatever. So, I mean, there were good moves too, but the Lance Lynn thing to me is going to loom large as the decision that showed that they went in with the wrong approach as a whole. And that's where they lost the series, I believe. Does it mean Tony La Russa failed? I think so. But how bad is a failure? I don't know.
I'm with you, Kat. I'm riding with you. I agree with you on what you just said. What I think, though, they lost the series in game 2 when he didn't use Michael Kopech.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. That to me, they had the lead. Shit was flowing. Kopech was fresh. He was rested. He was there. He was readily available to use.
Mm-hmm.
And he just didn't use him. He waited to game 3 to use him. When he came in game 3, he fucking shut shit down. And that made me even more frustrated. Because it was just like, you could have stole one in Houston. My
criticism for game 2 starts with, again, that should have been the Rodon game to me. The Rodon piggyback.
No, see, that's the thing I will get. The one thing I will give Tony La Russa, not even like a pass or whatever. The Sox were just
Carlos
screwed.
Rodon was,
Yeah, the Sox were their entire rotation, their pitching staff was their plan of what they thought they had in the middle of the season when everybody was rolling. It was completely derailed once Rodon was not 100% since August, and we saw that game 4. He only went 50 pitches. He was out of it. He was out of gas. He had nothing left.
I do believe that first inning he was trying to prove that he wasn't out of gas. And that's why you're seeing him hit 97 on the gun.
99, yeah.
He was trying to overthrow, and he blew his load. He blew his load in the first, and that's what happened in the second. Everything just fell apart for him. Mm-hmm. But Thomas right there on the chat says it too. Everybody got rocked. Name one pitcher for the White Sox that got the job done besides
Tempura.
Tempura was the only one that got it done. Crochet, my God. Now, I'm going to say this. I'll criticize this too. How many times are you going to use a rookie that looks like lost in a postseason game? And he did it in game 4, and it ended. It really put the game away. The going to Kopech was a game 4. They went to Kopech, and Kopech was walk and double or whatever. on his third
Well,
guy.
that was game. Well, that was game. Sorry, I'm glad you brought up Kopech again because and again, you weren't the only one who brought it up. Like, should have brought in Kopech game 2, but even Michael Kopech when he was used in game 3, at no point was Michael Kopech the Michael Kopech we saw early in the season. So he honestly he wasn't good either. He didn't shut them down either. He gave up 3 runs on that Sunday game.
Yeah, he looked good, but I know what you mean though. Like
and then game 4, he couldn't. Wasn't.
But then there was no reason to use him in game 4. Like,
that's right, and that was the other thing. It's like they literally said, and that's the other thing that we come down to, like the decisions that are made by coaching staff. They literally said, Michael Kopech not available today. Why?
Not available today.
And that was fine, Tony. Everybody would have been okay with it. Why? He just threw 47 pitches 2 days ago. I don't think at any point this season Kopech pitched that many innings and then pitched 2 days later.
And I know.
So you're asking a guy to do something he hasn't done since he was a starting like ever.
And for people listening, I'm sure there's a bunch of people listening right now that are like, "Oh yeah, well hindsight makes this shit so much easier." These are all feelings that I know we all had while it was happening in real time
and before.
Yeah, and before it happened, and also in game 4, this is a big time hindsight point though. Carlos Rodon should not have pitched to Correa.
No, I agree. I was surprised.
Gio should not have after Gio gave up that leadoff. What was it? A walk in his and gave up. He should have been gone after the walk. Yep. Yes, he gave up a deep fly ball.
I remember
that balls hit hard. But
I remember that because Gio came out in the 5th inning, right?
Mm-hmm. And that's Crochet, right? Was that Crochet?
Yeah, that was Crochet after.
I remember walk and
that was Crochet 2 games in a row, and he didn't look that great either. Game 1, but here's the thing: out of all these things, what can it go back to? Houston's fucking lineup is just you have to be perfect, and they weren't even close.
You literally have to be perfect.
And I need to preface this, and I think we should preface this with everything. And for White Sox fans that are terribly disappointing, yes, it sucks and it hurts, and White Sox lost and they got beat. But guess what? This is why you have to understand, and I know I don't mean to joke, but I know it's been a bit. But this is it's not a video game. It's fucking hard to win a World Series. And every team that's there right now is fucking good. Look at the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They were the darlings of the whole thing, and the Red Sox went in and hit them in the fucking mouth. You know why? Because everybody in the postseason is good. You made it that far for a reason. The pieces are there to do it. And Houston is a very good ball club. I think that I want to flush them down the toilet. I think they're turds. I effing hate them, but they're good. They are. They have a guy hitting 7th that had an OPS like above like 850 or whatever. Like who does that? And you have, good baseball teams. It's not you don't just, no one lays down and dies for you and says, just good luck, White Sox. Aha. Correct, Alex. The Dodgers, they have had the most talented team in baseball for 5 years, I think, at this point. They've got 160 game season title to show for it, which was a 60 game season. They have nothing left. And they're on the verge of possibly a 5th or 6th season now of having all that money and all that talent. And bye. So it's not easy. Even the most talented teams get stung by a Florida Marlins. And so it happens. And it's very difficult, but you have to put yourself in the best positions to at least have a shot against good baseball teams. And I think the decisions, and I think that the biggest decisions that the White Sox made that affected the series negatively were all on paper, not as much in game, because it sets a tone. And then all of a sudden you start out immediately in a series on your heels backpedaling. That's no way to start a series. You should be going forward into a series, and they should have started their best. Gio should have started game 1, period, to me. Gio goes out in game 1 and deals and shoves. This whole series changes because it sucks the life right out of Houston. But they let Houston believe, and then at that point, though, everything just gets and it builds up. And they opened the door, and Houston kicked it wide open. And that they cracked it and they kicked it.
Should have won game 2. And I mean, we're going to sit here and we're harping on all the pitching, which it was a huge aspect to this whole team.
Score run.
But the other part is they didn't have an extra base hit till game 3. I mean, they had like 18 singles. Cool. But
I'm sure you guys saw the stat, but I'll read it again from Joe Ostrowski again, 670 score. Tim Anderson, Yohan Moncada, Luis Robert, Jose Abreu, Eloy Jimenez combined for 0 extra base hits. 28 hits.
And Luis Roberts' defense, he pinged like 2 BBs off the wall that in Houston went right to the fielder.
And the other thing is, like, I mean, Tim Anderson, he did his job. He hit like 360 in the series.
Yeah.
So, but the other guys, you're
sluggers. We can do this just as like a compliment or an opposite compliment sandwich. Some of the positives were Ryan Tepera, Luis Robert. Everybody said this was going to be a breakout for him. He didn't really have the power that we wanted him to have, but fuck, man, he was hitting all over the place. He got on base. He did his thing. He came out of game 4 with leg tightness. I think that was more just, you're the future. We're going to start the bubble wrap now. Tim Anderson setting MLB records for most hits in first consecutive playoff games.
Yeah.
I mean, those are Gavin Sheets.
Gavin
Sheets
is your best hitter.
Gavin Sheets was working at Enterprise Rent-A-Car 6 months ago, and now he's DHing for the White Sox, hitting tanks over the center field wall.
Our guy,
he was the one White Sox player to me that looked like he wasn't caught staring at the pinstripes or staring at the bright lights. He looked like the one guy that was actually just playing baseball because it was baseball, and he did it in game 4 too, like that double. I mean, he's
home run and a double, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Jordan Lazowski brought it up perfectly. Jordan Lazowski brought it up perfectly because Lance McCullers started game 4, and obviously he dominated the Sox game 1. Sox had nothing against his breaking pitches, like the curveball, the slider. They could not hit it. The White Sox early on, they were sitting off speed, and like they got to him a little bit. They were spitting on some pitches. They drew a couple walks early on. Gavin Sheets had the home run. But then later on, it just seemed like they just completely like forgot the game plan, or it just reverted back to game 1 again. Except for Gavin Sheets. Gavin Sheets was still battling in there.
I've heard so many great coaches break down how do you win playoff games, and they simplify it to such a fantastic level. You can win playoff games consistently with one or two of 3 things. Really, is quality defense, good pitching, but not just offense. Timely hitting. You can't, some teams might go out there and, you get 2 outs and then they get a couple single. You've seen this with the Cubs, Aldo. They get 2 outs of the inning to start, and then they get a couple hits. You get guys on first and second with 2 outs. Like that's it. You need guys that start it off, lead off an inning, move the line, and get guys. And every time they move the line, you get guys on first and second, nobody out, and Pito hits it into a double play, or Grandal hits into a double play. You had so many good moments to create a crooked number and create some havoc, and it all ends up in a rollover, which is also bad luck. But you also got to tip your cap to the pitchers for making really good pitches in those situations instead of shitting the bed. They went right at it, and they got something heavy, and they got the ground ball they needed. And I feel like the White Sox, every big moment, we're like, oh god, yeah, guys on first and second, nobody out, let's roll. And then someone rolls something over. Eloy hits 105-mile-an-hour exit velocity ground ball directly to the second baseman because he pulled off a baseball a little bit with guys on first and second, ground out, double play ball, boom. All of a sudden, it's guy on third, 2 outs, pop out, inning over. It's that fast. Mm-hmm. Timely hitting. Look at what Houston did. They would string together 3, 4, 5 hits consecutively, and that's how you win postseason games, is because you create crooked moves.
In terms of Houston did a great job of just like they were taking a lot of, or not a lot. No, I think it was a lot of opposite field hits and just finding holes. But that was another thing that goes back to like the coaching staff. Mm-hmm. The shifting was awful.
Yep.
The shifting was there was plays where it's like there.
Yeah.
Like the great thing about baseball now, especially for any sport, you can look up anything you want. You can look up, what do teams do against Carlos Correa on a 1-2 pitch with a runner on and whatever. You can look up whatever.
Alex Rude can tell us what Jose Abreu hits on Tuesdays when he has had a Chicago-style hot dog for lunch and an Italian beef dinner and a Portillo's chocolate cake the night before. He could tell us what his numbers are going into that game, into that game and games after that or whatever. There's so many different weird numbers.
But here's the thing that how it relates back to the White Sox and shifting, or the lack of shifting that they did against Houston. Almost every single big hit, every back breaking 2-out like RBI single up the middle, or like through the hole,
up the middle.
You can look again. Shout out to Jordan Lazowski. Almost every one of those big hits, you can see where teams all season shifted on guys. And the White Sox were not there.
Who calls chips?
That is that Cairo, or is that
whoever it is? What are you guys doing?
That's actually my question. But here's the thing: if you had we'll talk about Tony. by the way, Tony originally, he's the godfather of the 2-out shift, or the it's not the 2-out, but the bottom of the last inning, gotta cut the runner out at the plate shift. The bring in the center fielder, put him on top of second, move the middle a little bit to the side, and put the outfielders, right field, left fielder in the gaps instead, and then play that whole infield thing. That's a Tony La Russa special. He's the guy that like coined that thing. Like I've used it a million times in like big situations. It's so weird to me that he isn't like diehard shift guy. Like you think a guy that like completely like coined one of the best shifts, or my favorite shift. It's most exciting shift for me because it means we either fuck up or we win, or we at least get out of an inning. And I love that. But he's not. He's actually like averse to it, which is weird. Like to me, I would figure like he'd be like straight up all about it because he was an original analytics video. You know, the cave that they created in St. Louis. By the way, if you've never heard of the cave, he's one of the guys that like helped create video swing analysis, in-game stuff. They had a cave in St. Louis that throughout his time there, where they had a dude that they hired that he was like the godfather of like video swing analysis. And he's like, but he's not like they don't shift. And and look, tip your cap to Houston too. Look, Houston proved that in this 3-outcome day and age that you could put a ball in play, but it's not just weakly just making sure you make contact. It's putting a ball in play and hitting it hard wherever it's pitched.
Dude, how many doubles did Houston line to the corners?
Boom.
Like it was like I was like, this is a fucking video game. Like they're just hitting the ball to the fucking corners and
They're no 3-outcome team.
And then finally, to talk about the series, let's talk about some of the magicians on the White Sox that magically disappeared. Starting off, no, Kane Guy's a legend. Don't fuck with Kane Guy.
No, I'm with Beef Loaf. Where the fuck was he game 4?
They moved his
Where
seat.
are the spells?
They tried to upgrade his seat. He wasn't in the same seat. They fucked up.
Well, White Sox, you fucked up. There you go. Game was over.
White Sox fucked up. Let's talk about some of the magicians on the team, guys that disappeared. We got, starting off, without a doubt, magician number 1, the David Copperfield of the series, Eloy Jimenez, who went 5 for 17. He had 3 RBIs. He did have 3 RBIs, so he's not the worst.
No, see, that's the thing. I was going to look up the batting averages. Eloy Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, and Jose Abreu. They all had high batting averages. None of them had extra base hits.
294 for Eloy. He went 5 for 17 with 3 RBIs, 5 strikeouts, with an on-base percentage of 294.
Yeah.
The next on the list, Yoan Moncada. He went 4 for 16. He scored twice, no RBIs, walked once, struck out 3 times, batted 250 with OBP of 294.
Oh, 294.
I hate to do this to him. I don't even want to do this to him. I got to do it to him.
Do it.
Leury Garcia, who had the fucking bomb-ass home run. Bomb-ass home run. It was fucking wild. I said I would never talk shit again about Leury. Batted 200.
But guess what? Timely hitting.
He went 3 for 15, scored 3 times. He had a double, a home run, 4 RBIs, 1 walk. He struck out 7 times.
By the way, Leury Garcia, I know obviously he had the biggest hit for the Sox that series.
Yes.
But also that came with Dusty Baker taking out his pitcher mid at bat to bring in a right-handed pitcher who was who was brought in by Houston to get right-handed hitters out, not lefties.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought Dusty's handling of his staff as a whole was so weird. When they were in game 1 and they were up handily and he's using his dudes in game 1.
His setup man and closer?
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? But you know what? Dusty's gonna Dusty in a 7-game series. That shit, somebody's not gonna be as sharp late if you keep doing that bullshit. I think the Red Sox. I'm rooting for the Red Sox, by the way, but I think that might be a fun series. I love Dusty Baker. Look, as a Cub fans, we all appreciate him. We appreciate the toothpick and the wristband for no apparent reason. But we
is that what you like? Do you?
And now he's wearing the black gloves too. So now now he looks like he literally is Dexter trying to
murder the Sox.
Yeah, murder the Sox. But he wore black ones too, which is really funny. I am happy for him in that sense because again, I don't hate Dusty Baker at all. I love Dusty Baker. He was a progressive dude. He was at a really bad point, a low point for the Cubs. But what should have been a high point was the Cubs got to the NLCS. Like it was great. But he did also fall on that sword a little bit because he handled pitchers poorly. I actually blame him for Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood's arm injury. I 100%. Well, no, Mark Pryor, not Kerry Wood. I blame Kerry Wood's high school coach for his injury because the curveball he was throwing at like 16 or 15 was so
Chris Bryant's
career. But you blame the what?
I blame Chris Bryant's high school coach.
Wow, no, you can blame Chris Bryant's high school coach for his performance in this NLC DS. Oh, that's my fault.
I mean, Kevin needs to send your resume to the Sox, maybe.
Hey, Menachino, I'm coming for your job, bitch. No,
who's next though? How did your boy Caesar do?
No, we're not even at Caesar.
All right, wait, Grandal, he walked at least a little bit.
but he rolled over a ton too.
No, he batted 143.
That's what he does.
Did he take walks though? He didn't do what he does, right? He didn't take walks.
Twice.
Exactly.
He walked twice in 14 at bats. He walked twice in 14 at bats. He struck out 3 times. He had 2 hits. One of them was the home run, which again, cool. Yeah, cool. But the most
you can't love the 140 you can accept when he's walking 3 times a game. You can't accept the 140 when he's not walking. Like shit. The Jordan, because he gets on base. It was because he's not doing shit right now, is what it was at that point, which sucks.
The most infuriating. We've talked about a lot of shit in the last 35 minutes that would make any White Sox fan's blood boil. The most infuriating thing that happened this entire series: 2 outs, 2 men on. Pivotal point in this game.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
Pivotal point in this game.
What was it?
Pivotal point.
2 outs, 2 on.
Cesar Hernandez comes up to the plate.
I hear you say that over and over again.
Comes up to the plate. Doesn't take the fucking bat off his shoulder. Sat there like a goddamn statue. It looked like he was staring at a fucking magic eye pitcher trying to see the fucking sailboat for 5 pitches and sat right the fuck back down.
Hey, Alex, I love the 286 average and the 545 OBP. I love when he takes walks with 2 outs when his team's down 6. Looks great. But you know what? When it mattered most, he looked like it was too big. He was smaller than the moment. In the biggest moment that he had, he didn't take the bat off his shoulder. He looked scared. He looked scared.
Yeah, it's just.
I go with Bill on that. I was that bat to me. I don't even give a shit about the rest of his stats. That at bat to me. I mean, they 100% outcome bias at that point. Like I can't. At that point, I was like, he looked scared. Now he had a nice base hit again with 2 outs when they were down. Was it like 6-1 at that point with 2? There's timely hitting, and it's just a knock on Chris Bryant too. By the way, we talk about this all the time. It is you build a legacy and a legend in the moments that matter. You can be quietly consistent all over the place, but the moments that matter, people remember.
Before we go into anything Chris Bryant,
no. Talk about the moments that matter, though.
Right. No, and you are right. You are right, 100%. But like, here's what I want to make sure I address before I get it in the comments. This has nothing to do with he took Madrigal's spot. The Madrigal trade happened like 10 years ago in my fucking mind. I'm over it. It's done.
Alex is coming for you.
You have to realize, like, I have this magical ability of not being biased because the player I liked is gone. Like, it's crazy to think that. I know it's fucking wild, but I somehow possess this ability. I'm judging Cesar Hernandez off of the play that I've seen since he's come to the White Sox.
Bad.
And that one at bat will forever eat away at me because it was so, the fact that his bat never left his fucking shoulder in such a clutch situation just drove me up a fucking wall. And I'm not on some huge like anti-Cesar Hernandez campaign. I'm not going to hashtag Dunham, even though one of you two got on the Pinwheels account and tried to get me to do it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was curious. So
close.
Very close to done.
But I'm not done with him by any means. I mean, the dude has.
I don't think they're going to pick up his option.
He has a very good glove. He's
very
good
Zoe,
glove.
I think the Sox are done with him.
I think they are. I don't. But I mean, I guess this is a good segue.
Well, I look. You just insulted Caesar, and this is Alex walking down to confront you about it.
You and your sound effects, man. It is October.
He's coming for you. He's coming for you.
But I mean, it's just he didn't do shit since I mean, the trade deadline, in hindsight now, was a complete failure for the White Sox.
You got Ryan Tepera.
Okay, so it was like
who gave
85%.
You got trade bait. Trade bait now with Kimbrel. You can trade him to the Phillies again.
I guess I should hold off on that statement until I see what they trade Kimbrel for.
Bryce Harper.
Do you guys want to get into that right now or a little later? Because
what do you got? I feel like you.
Well, is there any more about the playoff series that we need to really address before we move
anything
on
else with the
all the peripheral stuff that now the fallout from this? Like, because again, I looked at. Did you not
go Red Sox?
Can I say this though about Eloy? I feel like Eloy completely changed his approach once he got to the postseason.
I feel like so tight.
He was bad.
He was trying to pull and hit everything out of the ballpark. He didn't look like
bad for a month.
What he did. And he did. And you know what, Luis Robert, he was my guy to kind of superstar up. He wasn't bad. I do feel like his defense in center, though, I don't feel like he got a great read on a couple balls too. But nobody showed. Nobody. Well, Sheets kind of did, but there wasn't anybody that. Well, Tim Anderson did, I guess, too. You can really talk about Tim, but it didn't feel like anybody really where was your Thor? Where was your savior? Where was your? I don't know. There's always.
I get what you're saying.
There's always someone that just breaks the window and everyone follows and then crawls in with you. Nobody did that. They just kind of everyone would just kind of hung back at the back and said, "Is someone going to do this?" And by the time someone decided they'd try, it was too late. It really felt like everyone was deferring, looking for a hero, and they were holding out for a hero till the end of the night.
Hero, baby.
I think we're gonna go full circle here. Going back to the Lawrence Holmes comments, we saw what the Sox were. Everything that the Sox did wrong during the regular season showed up in the postseason. What was they led like the American League? They were top 2 or 3 in ground ball percentage. What did we see against a pitching staff that induces a lot of ground balls? Mm-hmm. And you just faced a better offensive team, got beat.
Yep.
It was just I can't believe that last week all 7-0s. Obviously we had 5 Sox fans on,
right?
But
there
wasn't even an inch of I think Houston's going to give us some problem.
I do think I said I'm very nervous about Houston. I said if they get past Houston, they got a pretty clear lane. Which now that Boston beat Tampa. Yeah, I think the White Sox would smoke the Red Sox in a 7-game series.
So I know we like to plug out when Jeff Passan murders somebody.
He murdered himself.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Carlos Rodon murdering somebody.
No, I don't want to talk. Don't give that fucking call. He already deleted his account. I'm not even going to get into it.
He said, "I ain't seen a pic of a girl on your page except your mom. Seems to me you're the rat-looking ass."
So some loser thought he was fucking. Thought he would waste his energy to message Rodon on Instagram about how he has time now on his couch. Didn't expect any kind of smoke back, and Rodon just went in on him.
And so shared it with John Boy too.
And then this kid
that trip to Breckenridge.
And then this kid posted it on Twitter, thinking look at I got this guy fired up, and he got. Right away, just everyone jumped on him.
Yeah,
of course he's an Astros fan. Jumped on him, being like, "Dude, no, you're taking a huge L here, you fucking dork." So much so that he just deleted his account. Straight up deleted his Twitter account.
Carlos Rodon knew to go. Mommy and Daddy paid for your trip specifically to Breckenridge. That is the ultimate mommy and daddy. Let's go. We're gonna go skiing.
Mm-hmm. Rodon buried this kid. And one family that you don't want to come at on social media is the Rodons. Because if Carlos doesn't go at you, his wife will murder you.
Stick with your family.
One last thing on the series. I think we've gone through the player stuff. By the way, we addressed it a little on the Sunday stream, Zoe. But starting pitching, we talked about it with Lynn, with Cease, Bad, Rodon. I find it hard for me to be like, oh, Rodon was bad. I don't think he was 100%. So I can't be like, this guy is bad. He was just throwing anything he had out there. But what were the White Sox doing? Giving away dish towels for Game 4 or dish rags?
I don't think they expected a Game 4 to happen. Also,
no, they were literally. It was like a just wholesale order of black blank black dish rags for their rally towels.
Yeah, it was terrible. Alex posted a picture of it. It literally looked like something you stole from your mom's house. Like you carried a hot plate out of like a family dinner, and you like found that in your car 3 months later. And you're like, where the fuck did that come from? And you're like, yeah. Anyways, friend of the show, My Sox Summer, said it was a supply chain issue, which those do happen with, especially now. There's all kinds of crazy shit going on. Like,
is that what took my my new 108 shirt so long to get here? It was a supply chain issue.
You're gonna have to talk
I ordered it 7 fucking weeks ago. No, it's AOL. It's dial up. It's fine.
I got 2 things. One, I'm pretty sure I brought up in our preview show the White Sox not holding runners on.
Oh,
I mean, it's not you, dude. The great Pudge Rodriguez wouldn't be able to throw these guys out. They got fucking 10-step jumps on the ball because no one's even fucking looking at them. They're halfway down the goddamn line when the pitcher starts his motion. Yep. What the fuck is Yaz supposed to do? You can't put that on Yaz.
And that's another thing that happened during the entire regular season. Yes. They brought it up before the playoffs. We're going to address this. We have a game plan. Where the fuck was it?
And you know what though? Not to, because I know that bails Yaz out for a few things. His blocking at the plate was dog shit. I'll just say.
Oh no, it wasn't good by any means. And I'm not trying to excuse his play. I'm just saying.
I mean, he was overcommitting. He wasn't squaring down. He was getting bad caroms too, man. He wasn't doing he gave up a few extra bases because and I'm watching Maldonado, which made it worse. It actually made it worse for Yaz. Because Maldonado is such an incredible defensive catcher. Every ball in the dirt, even on an off speed, which is spinning away, and you've got to position yourself, and you've got to have the proper angle. And he's knocking baseballs straight down. Yaz, it's carrying him off. It's going off the shoulder. It's spinning off, and guys are taking extra bases. That kind of stuff isn't Yaz. That's not Yaz. No. He's good.
I mean, Kyle Tucker. First of all, 1, fuck Kyle Tucker. 2, I love you, Kyle Tucker. Come play for the White Sox. But
he's 24.
I know. He's so good, though.
You're going to be facing him for a long time.
He's right now, if you go to MLB.com and you sort playoff batting stats, he's top dog. But hits a base hit and literally moonwalks to second. Next pitch does cartwheels to third, and it's like, oh, sweet. We just gave him a runner on third with no outs. That's a good strategy. Like it was so infuriating because we've brought it up on this show. It's been brought up on a million other podcasts too, how the White Sox don't hold runners. And fuck, it just boom. I mean, Kyle Tucker is just free. He is a name we are going to hear about for a long time, and he gets +1 points in the book of Zoe because he doesn't wear batting gloves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's straight G shit right there. And then 2, I think one of the positives that does come out of this series, I mean, trying to make a positive out of a negative, is it 1,000% exposed the glaring needs this team has in the offseason. You like that transition? Look at that. Look at that fucking transition.
Ooh, that's a good segue.
That was a segue and a half. But I was like, don't give me the fail horn. That was actually a good one. But
this is just so funny.
So what do the White Sox need? The White Sox need a right fielder.
You need a fart sound effect in here, I swear to God.
Wait, what about Adam Engel?
White Sox need a right fielder.
Adam Engel. Gavin Sheets.
Kimbrel for Bryce Harper. Hello.
White Sox need a right fielder.
Gavin Sheets.
DH. White Sox need a second baseman.
Andrew Vaughn.
Larry Garcia.
Andrew Vaughn.
White Sox need a second baseman.
He can play everywhere. Garcia. Jack of all trades. He's really a Swiss Army knife.
White Sox need a better backup catcher.
Yes.
Bryce Harper.
They need a catcher who, if needed to, can come in as a defensive option.
Kyle Schwarber.
White Sox need pitching, dude.
Can pitch.
I can't believe I have to say that. I can't believe I'm saying that.
Actually, I was thinking about this, and I know it was such a weird season because obviously these guys were put in the bullpen, and then they made Kopech made like a couple spot starts or pitched 4 or 5 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Are you confident enough in Kopech and Crochet? Because I saw a lot of that immediately after. It's like, get rid of Keuchel, put Kopech and Crochet in the rotation, go from there. Are you confident enough that both of those guys, once they're Crochet, I know there's a question mark, but there's still, I think, the plan of him being the rotation. And obviously with Kopech, he was coming back from not pitching for a while. Like, are you confident enough right now and be like, I can trust Kopech and Crochet to be in the rotation and be good right away, 2022?
Kopech, yes. Crochet, no.
Yeah, because I think Crochet, I know the numbers look good, but when I see him out, the fastball does. I don't know. The fastball just didn't pop this year.
Right. I mean, I think Michael Kopech needs to be a starter next year. I think that's why the strategy of his stretching out towards the end of the season, like the last month or so, there's so many opportunities when they could have spot started him.
And like if you were stretching him out, you could have started him maybe one of those.
That's
games.
what I'm saying. What
was their plan? What were they thinking?
But no, I don't think Garrett Crochet is anywhere close to being a starter. I don't know if he ever will be, to be honest with you.
You know what? I'm glad I got Alex, by the way. I think that, you know what? I do actually think that he might need to. I'm actually not super impressed with him out of the pen. I think that being able to start a game and go through the slow process of getting prepared and getting in as a starter in a starter's role actually might be better for Crochet, because it seems to be, at least to me, that he is not really that great when he has like a speed.
Let's get to this question.
It's something that has been coming up more often than not in the last couple of days. Hold on.
You mentioned 2 free agent spots.
Okay, here is the question that we're talking about, given to us by Thomas Duran. Again, thank you for listening, Thomas. Appreciate you. The comment is, I heard Sox Machine podcast last night. Shout out Josh and Jim, talking about trading Eloy to balance the lineup. Thoughts on that? This has become more and more of a thing ever since he had a really shitty end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
He had a really shitty playoffs. And this is definitely one of those situations where what I'm asking Sox fans to do is remove yourself from the homerism fandom of this. Like, think of this as from a business side of things. So as we're talking about all these needs that the White Sox have, and it's a great, it's there and everybody knows it. But the question that needs to follow up the discussion about needs is, what do the Sox have of value? Because the free agent market for second baseman is dog shit. They can probably find a pretty good outfielder, but pitching, no. And what do the White Sox have of any value? Farm system shit.
You have like one guy, Kelly.
Yeah, and he's had a ton of injuries too.
He's like 19, yeah.
You got Kelly and you got Cespedes. But
Colas?
And supposedly that's going to happen in a month or so. But what do the White Sox have of value right now to other teams? And I'm about to say some names. People can get real mad, but you got to think about it.
Nick, wait.
He gone.
Well, the guy they traded him for.
Yeah. Craig Kimbrell.
Kimbrell,
there you go. That's someone of value that you can get rid of.
And they picked up the option today, correct?
No, that was Bob Zaney.
That was just
Bob Zaney.
That was just speculation.
They're not picking up the option then. Oh, they're not going to get it.
But
no, okay, wait. It actually fits into what I was going to bring up earlier. I think I know the thought is, just pick up his option and then just trade him to a team that needs a closer. But then don't you kind of box yourself in, because don't you kind of lose the leverage? Because the team can be like, bring your price down or keep using him in the 8th inning where he keeps fucking up and pay him $16 million. We'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's such a slam dunk that you can just be like, we'll pick up the option and we can just trade him to whoever.
I agree with you, Aldo.
I don't think it's some big guarantee that some fans are making it out to be like, we can just give him the option and then trade him to the highest bidder.
It's a fantastic way, because I mean, if I'm a GM of a rival team and I'm like, well, why am I going to bail the White Sox out?
Right. And then here's the thing. The Sox could do that, but if you don't pick up a big chunk of that salary, you know what teams are going to be asking for? They're going to be asking for whatever high price.
Thank you, Thomas. Hey,
real quick, guys, I hate to interrupt. Just wanted to throw this out there. Just want to give a rest in peace for longtime Oakland A's broadcaster Ray Fosse. Passed away tonight of cancer. So just throwing that out
It
there.
sucks. I can't say I'm familiar with any of his work.
Fighting for 16 years, but today 74, he passed away. So pretty sad that he's been a guy. He's been an Oakland A's guy, and for some reason he worked with a guy that I knew, and sucks. Good guy.
Cancer sucks.
Yeah, RP.
No, but and I agree with Alex in the comment though. Like, this Eloy talk could totally be an overreaction to a shitty end of the season. Like 100%.
Yeah,
really want to
trade Eloy? Home runs in
Right, I know.
The Cubs.
And his defense improved exponentially. Like it's fine. But the other name that has been popping up, and I don't think they'll do it. I really don't think they'll do it, but it kind of makes sense. But I really don't think they'll do it. Andrew Vaughn.
I don't think they'll do it because I think Jose Abreu is going to be 36 years old.
So you move him to DH and you move Sheets to first base.
Because of a couple of weeks of Sheets, though. Like Vaughn was pretty good for a couple of weeks too.
I know. I'm just saying, like,
this is a weird thing to me because I don't think the White Sox need to trade pieces right now. I think the White Sox right now, the reality is when a team is this close, it's on the owner to open up his goddamn wallet and go just buy some shit.
There's no one to buy, though.
Get some milk for that cereal and eat some damn crap. Captain Crunch.
That is the other point, Zoe. I think I saw this. I haven't looked it up. Maybe Alex already knows the numbers. Alex, if you do, put it in the chat. I think I saw that the White Sox, without doing like anything yet right now, like without even picking up the option for Kimbrel, I think their payroll is like close to 140, 150 for 2022. I don't know if that was wrong or I'm like,
no, I can
are they going to add anyone? Because this is the highest payroll they've ever had.
And the Dodgers, and that's all you need to know. Red Sox have a large payroll. The Dodgers have a large payroll, and it's potentially going to be Dodgers and Red Sox in the World Series. You got to spend.
Like we're talking about,
it's time for Jerry to say, "Fuck it, my kids are getting a little bit less on their inheritance."
All right. Hold on. We're talking over each other again. It's
143.
I hate when we fucking do that. So, Alex makes a good point too. They'll most likely they won't trade Vaughn. They'll sell high on Sheets. They did that with Dane Dunning.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That does make sense to me too. You got the 143.5 as the payroll in 2022 as of right now. Go on the free agent tracker. There's not a lot of good there. I mean,
no. Here's the thing, though. Right field. I think it's a name that's already been kicked around a little, and you brought it up with like balancing the lineup. You know who's a perfectly fine fit? Chris Taylor from the Dodgers.
I'd be good with that.
Like perfectly fine. It's not like he's not like a slugger, but he's a fine like hitter. That should balance you guys out.
Yeah. Right? Hold on, I'm sorting here. Another name that's and I laugh every time I see this. Do you really, really think that Jerry would spend enough to get Marcus Semien back to the White Sox?
You know why? I'm going to say no, and then especially no, because who is the last free agent pitcher they signed to a big deal?
Dallas Keuchel. Yeah. No,
he's going to be like, hey, Rick, Marcus, I let you sign a pitcher to a big deal. Look what happened, Rick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Fuck. But, I mean, that's your best option as an infielder, though, is Marcus Semien.
Oh, wait, no.
So your best bet of making a baby is Semien.
I don't know. I confused. I thought you were saying Stroman as a pitcher, not Semien.
I like Marcus Stroman a ton.
He won't play for Tony.
No.
Stroman, yeah, no, he won't.
Stroman already said he won't play for Tony.
Yeah.
He'll play for David Rossi.
Yeah, but
I mean, for
Marcus.
Yeah, yeah. The second base is thin.
Second base is extremely thin.
And you know what's going to make
second base.
The White Sox need a really good contact hitting second baseman that doesn't strike out a ton and is really, really good with two strikes.
I know what you're doing, but no, Marcus is the guy to go to.
But you know what's going to be tough about Semien? I mean, I'm sure he's going to go to like whoever he gets the biggest payday, but I'm sure he still wants to play shortstop.
That too, and Tim's not moving, so
right. So
that pipe dream goes away.
You want Jason Kipnis?
Carlos Correa is available. He sure is. I mean,
we saw today in the DM that Alex Rude is big on Javi Baez to the White Sox too.
There you go.
There you go. Have fun
Second
with that
base.
one. He all yours.
who stinks? I'm very confused at who
Carlos
got
Correa. I think
who
he's
got the two separate he stinks comments from Alex. Carlos Correa does not stink. Carlos Correa is very far from stink.
Stroman doesn't stink though either. Does Liam Hendricks stink?
No, he's talking about Liam Hendricks might be a recruiter for Seaman because he played with him in Oakland.
She's like he is posting like one thing at a time, like
Right,
103 million stinks.
very-
Like, what I went with.
What about the guy that Rick Hahn wanted and then Twitter messed up the trade? Eduardo
Machado?
Escobar.
Oh, Jock Peterson?
Jock, by the way, yeah, he's having a terrible playoffs.
Jocktober. Woo.
Yeah,
What the fuck was that in
There you
June,
go, Alex.
Jock?
yeah. I really don't. I'm not gonna do this again for like the 100th time. Madrigal doesn't stink. You're very biased. I'm just ending it there. You can just fucking let it go. I mean, there's no he doesn't. Stink. He hasn't even played a fucking full season yet, dude. I get it.
Wait,
You don't
here's
like
the name.
guy.
Here's the big name. You know who is a slugger but is also a contact hitter
What?
for right field who can opt out? Who the Sox probably should have signed a few years ago anyway?
I'm all
Castellanos.
If he opts out, that's a no-brainer. I mean, that would be fucking.
He's gonna be
glorious.
the top like right field free agent.
I mean, they got something cooking in Cincy, not like the White Sox got. I mean,
The
would.
Cincinnati Reds who didn't make the playoffs. What are you talking about?
Castellanos has the Zoe will pick him up from the airport status. Like I'm talking even O'Hare during rush hour.
Yeah, I
would
think
go
he's
pick
going to opt
somebody
out
up.
because I think his deal was like 4 for 64, and he's already played through 2 years of that. So I think he's looking to get like, 20 a year.
Yeah, well, Sport Tech has him estimated at market value at 21.3.
There you go. Yeah.
Chris Bryant can play third base, and
There
Yoan
you
used to play second
go.
base, didn't he?
I mean, Chris Bryant can play right field.
Chris Bryant play everywhere.
Yeah.
Chris could even be the groundskeeper. I mean, he knows how to rake. It's great.
Here's a guy who can potentially be a free agent, even though I don't think he's going to decline his player option. Charlie Blackmon.
He's like 100, dude.
He's 35. He's only 35, so come on.
In baseball years,
What's up,
that's
Joey?
that's old. But I agree with Alex on this one. He would be dumb not to opt out. I mean,
He's definitely opting out.
he's going to opt out, but I think he needs to opt out and look at the market. He doesn't need to do one of those things where he opts out just to sign the new paper in Cincinnati. Like,
Hey, here I'm cracking up, by the way, because here's Cub fans. Here's Cub fans in a nutshell. Why shouldn't we trade Chris Bryant? His agent Scott Boras. Scott Boras is going to ask for the moon. Also, we need to go out and get Ryan Castellanos, who's represented by
Nicholas.
our Ryan Castellanos. Sorry, I coached Ryan. Sorry, Nick Castellanos. Also repped by Scott Boras. So Castellanos is going to ask for the moon. Castellanos can't play defense, but the legend has been built. It's crazy, but here's the funny part. The White Sox they could go after Castellanos and actually have a fighting chance. The Cubs are going to have to overpay for Castellanos for a reason, and it's because of how they cross Scott Boras. I'm telling you right now, Scott Boras and every one of his clients will ask for a little bit more from the Chicago Cubs than they'll ask for anybody else. So the White Sox might actually be smart because I know Castellanos loves Chicago. If they go in there and put a little bit in there, they could probably turn his head a little bit if he does opt out and bring him in. But they're playing that game. He said all the right things. All the Boras guys always say the right things, right? So Castellanos.
So are you frustrated that it's going to be like, it seems like this is going to be another offseason and the White Sox pretty much have the same question marks? It
is frustrating. I mean,
this is the third straight year of the White Sox need a right fielder. The White Sox, I know Magical came up, but it was like, is Magical the guy at second base? Now it's the White Sox need a second base.
The right fielder thing especially is very frustrating to me because their answer to the right fielder was Adam Eaton. Like, don't forget that. Like, their answer to we need a right fielder is Adam Eaton. The worst answer possible.
FYI, real quick shout out to Joey Ricotta from Stuff in the Stat Sheet, a member of the IBWAA in the chats right now. What up, buddy? One of our favorite Cub fans.
Shout out Joey.
No, so that's to me the right fielder thing is even more frustrating because I've said it on the show 100 times. I think at the time the Magical for Kimbrel trade was a good trade at the time. Obviously, whatever. But I also thought Cesar Hernandez would be a very serviceable second baseman.
Can I ask you a question about this though too? And Cub fans can attest to this too. Kimbrel does take a little bit of time to get acclimated to his environment and his new team. The Cubs fans saw he was not great early with the Cubs, right? And perhaps do you think that if you can see that pattern developing, do you think the White Sox might be smarter to let the guy get comfortable, or is it just the salary is just too much for that? Like to have a setup guy with that much money. I do feel like it takes that guy a little bit of time to get comfortable where he's at. And I feel like a midseason change, he was dominant. He was lights out. Why? Because he was comfortable in Chicago with the Cubs. And then everything got pulled out from under him. Even if it's a switch across town, I think that he didn't look like himself. He was Dirty Craig every time out because he was comfortable and everybody was used to it. And so was he. So do you think maybe perhaps the White Sox hang on to him and say, look, now it's been a little time. You're coming into the season. You're going to spring training with us. You're going through the process. You're one of us. And all of a sudden, do you think maybe, again, you have that Hendricks Kimbrel 8-9, which would be get the game to get through 7 the lead, you're good.
That's fine and everything like that, but like, I don't know. It just sucks you traded for a guy mid-season. If that's the case, they traded for a guy mid-season to help with a playoff run that apparently needs a year to get fucking acclimated. Like that's, you know what I mean? It's just, but
yeah, but with the Cubs, and the Cubs traded him. I don't know if the value is as high as it would be if you waited a little bit to see if he's good.
Right.
I think there is no way you do that.
No. And the thing with Dallas Keuchel is the only way he's off the White Sox is if the new CBA puts a salary floor, and somebody's like, "Shit, we got to get to the floor." We'll take Dallas Keuchel's terrible.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. You're literally going to get nothing for Dallas Keuchel.
No.
Oh no! You could get a couple of boxes of Big League Chew.
And then I don't know. The outfielder market is a little bit better than the second base market. Second base market
is rough.
It's very bad. It's very, very bad.
Unless you count Javi as a two-bagger, which we know that.
There you go. He can't. I mean, Javier Baez is a better defender at second base than shortstop.
I mean,
yep. And you know what? Javi is going to play second base because he wants to play with his buddy. Let's be honest. He's not going to sign with the White Sox to play second base. He's not friends with Tim Anderson. They don't have that relationship. Come on. It's really, you think Javi's going to defer? Although Javi would be smart. He's a far better defender at second base in his career than he is at short. He could be an all-time great short second baseman. This
is a random question, but this got me thinking about like a guy like Baez, because like obviously we know the highs and lows, but we know the defense, especially at second base. But I think it was from what is it, like outside the fuck, I'll get the name later. But it was a Cubs blogger on Twitter. I was like, fuck. I'm so mad that I forgot the name. But he basically did a poll question of what would you rather have as a team? Just in a vacuum. A 100 WRC plus hitter, great defense at second base, or a 100 WRC hitter, good defense at shortstop.
Shortstop to me, I think.
Shortstop,
right?
Probably.
Don't you?
So then, that was basically like, would you rather have Nico Horner at shortstop or Nico Horner at second base?
Well, I really think the Nico.
I think people
magical fucking little white boy crew they got going on the north side is going to be dirty next year.
It's the fucking lollipop guild up the middle, baby. I love it. It's
again. There's nothing against Nico Horner. I hope Nico Horner like plays all over the field. I'll say that.
Yeah, Joey Ricotta makes a great point here. Look at this with Kimbrel, especially. You know what? You got that extra year for a reason. You paid a little bit more of a premium with Madrigal to get that extra year. Why? And you're taking the option. If you take the option, are you going to trade him immediately? Maybe not. But in July, and if you have other options that they can fill that eighth inning role, you could always spin him after he's proven to be back to where he's at. But again, I look at Kimbrel and I think that a trade with Kimbrel, anywhere Kimbrel goes after a trade, if he gets comfortable in one place, it's going to take him a whole half season to get comfortable somewhere else, because that seems to be the pattern. It took him a half a season to get comfortable with the Cubs, and it may take him a half a season to get comfortable because he wasn't great with the White Sox. He gave up. Against the Cubs, he gave up more than he gave up with the Cubs. But that's a really good point. Is the sense that you could still have some capital. Like you need to get a bat. Well, we have Kimbrel, and look. Kopech figured it out. Kopech's going to take the eighth inning for us. Like you have a lot of good young arms too that you could say, yeah, expendable, and then you can spin that Kimbrel and get maybe a some sort of boost somewhere where you actually have that. Again, you don't know your void until you get to around the trade deadline. So
the other thing that
Zoe froze. That's pretty cool though. Now someone please screenshot that with a fake penis in his mouth. All right.
By the way, shout out. It was Greg
Jim, you're on.
Out of the Vines who had that poll question.
There you go. Now I'm not frozen anymore.
No?
Your guard Jim's gonna put a straight up penis in your mouth. You're done.
It's awesome.
Photoshop. Awesome.
I know it's good stuff. The other thing though that Alex has been beating the drum in the comment section, and I agree with him. The market for a closer is almost worse than a second baseman market. Like the White Sox do hold the chips in that aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like they do. There is not a lot of available closers out there. Yeah, Bummer finished the year great.
Delicious calves have great opinions.
I mean, Bummer finished the year great. I'm not too worried about that. I'm just more interested as to what it brings back. The farm system's absolute shit. So if it can help them retool a farm system, that might be the way to go.
Here's the thing, though, because the salary, because I think the only reason I think the Cubs paid, or did they? Did the Cubs pay a pretty good chunk of Kimbrel's salary this year, or no?
Probably.
Because here's the thing, we're talking about Alex. What? Yeah, Alex, get back to us. How much did the Cubs cover in that one? If the White Sox, the only way that the White Sox are going to get something good back is if, again, they take a good chunk of his contract.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Why not just
if there's already question marks about how much they're going to spend,
and
I got an idea. Here's my idea: the Chicago White Sox trade Craig Kimbrel to the Philadelphia Phillies for Bryson Stott. Their minor league player of the year, who is a shortstop and or second baseman, is a switch hitter. Another Vegas boy we've talked about on this show prior to the draft. I remember I told you that he was should have been a top 10 pick. Was one of the best high school baseball players I've seen come out of Las Vegas. He is right now, I think, sitting at double or triple A, and he is. See, Joey said Ricardo. Yeah, Joey knows. Bryson is a stud, and maybe if you can get Kim, if you could pry him away, he'll play up the middle. He plays anywhere. He could play the outfield too. I've seen him play the outfield. He's legit. And so there's my proposal. Try and just rip him out.
There is no way the Phillies.
Him and Tanner know each other too. So him and Tanner McDougal can hang out and be roommates because they'd be.
But
your first round draft pick a few years ago.
The word that came out though was how much Dave Dombrowski, and for those of you who don't know, Dave Dombrowski is the the president of baseball operations for the Phillies. He really wanted Kimbrel, and he gets aggressive. Put it that way. So Kimbrel for Didi and Stout, let's go. I'd do that trade in a fucking heartbeat. Are you kidding me? That'd be fucking sick. But I mean, there's options. And then the whole other thing too is, do you give Carlos Rodon a qualifying offer? And what do you do there? And there's a lot to do this offseason. There's a lot.
Well, ask Huzo, would you?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, if he takes it, it's 16 mil. I think he'll be all right.
I think it's 18.4.
I thought it went down. I thought they tweeted out that it was coming down to 16 something. Alex. But if he doesn't take the qualifying offer, then they get the comp pick. So I feel like that's a fair value for him. That dude gave everything.
Oh, here we go. MLB clubs have been informed that the qualifying offer for free agents this winter is set at $18.4 million. That's down slightly from $18.9 million last year.
I know it went down, but for some reason I had 16 in my head. But still,
I think that's Kimbrel's number. Kimbrel's option is $16 million.
Oh, there you go. That's where his numbers are fun. But I don't know. I think the White Sox should give Rodon a qualifying offer.
And do you think he takes it? he takes it, right? Or well,
I think it'd be smart of him to take it. I think a lot of teams are going to be very scared of his injury history and his second half of the season.
That's what sucks so much, because that Game 4 was basically Carlos Rodon's career in a nutshell. You saw the great pitching, you saw like the fire, the passion, and then you saw a guy who just did not have it anymore.
Is that real?
What's
Tim
that?
Anderson in 2021, ground balls hit to the left side, 121. Fly balls hit to the left side, 8.
Well, that's why he has a high batting average, because he dumps all those outside pitches to right field.
Right, I know. That's a wild stat to me.
He doesn't. You take the good with the bad. That's how you get the 300 batting average, but the low slugging.
Yeah, I mean, if Carlos doesn't take it and he bets on himself and he walks, at least the White Sox will get a comp pick out of it. But like,
what's the rule on that? You have to get it
once.
You have to get like at least 50 million. I think you have to sign for at least 50 million to get the comp pick. I think Alex put that in the chat a few months ago.
And I thought the qualifying offer was it lowered to like 18.2 million?
18.4.
Yeah.
18.4. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Rodon's going to do better than 18.4, because I don't think anyone's giving him a multi-year deal either.
The Cubs thought that about Jake Arrieta after he had a really good little run there, and then he went somewhere else, and the arm went.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yep.
So hopefully Rodon.
How old is Rodon? 28?
About the time that Jake was feeling his way around the.
Carlos Rodon, 28, will be 29 in December.
So a 29-year-old, if he hasn't signed by the CBA.
Yeah. Well, that's everything that we're saying right now. Every single thing that we're saying could be a complete moot point after this CBA gets done.
I heard a thing though that like guys, they're gonna get grandfathered in, so like it's not gonna, like it's like the qualifying offer thing would go away next year.
Next year, yep. Like it's same with like Shreve actually got bailed out by a service time thing. He's under contract and control with the Philly or the Pirates next year too, because of how they played his contract, which for him is a great thing because they actually owe him more money than the new CBA probably would actually allow him to like get on the open market. So he actually kind of like got weird saved. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of weird things coming out. Like some of the I think the CBA is going to actually benefit the players, the minor players, not minor league players, but like the minor role players on teams that are on like these weird, like maybe these 2-year deals. It's going to benefit them a little bit. They have like, at least they can go home at night and not worry like the CBA is going to screw up their ability to get a job next year or whatever. And we have seen the analytics play a role in kind of eliminating veteran relievers out of the game and bringing in cheaper, less expensive, younger players.
The Tampa Bay Rays model.
Yep, to fill that void. And that's, I mean, Jason's talked about it on our show, and he'll be on here obviously this offseason probably at least 2 or 3 times because he's ready to
tell
talk.
him to demand a trade.
No, he's getting paid. Well, I mean,
he should still get paid if
you want to lefty to get the righties out. Why wouldn't you trade for him? But
that's why.
I need him somewhere.
Wait, what is this comment about LaRusse? Yeah, what?
To Joey's question here, do you guys think that led to him pitching not much down the stretch? I know he had a lot of innings coming off the injury, but TLR made it sound like he could have pitched through it. Just from my experience with Carlos Rodon, I think he didn't pitch down the stretch because they were legit worried about his arm falling off.
Yeah, no.
And I don't care what Tony says about how he thinks he can pitch through it. I don't care if Carlos says like, yeah, I'm good to go, or I don't believe any of it. I mean, after the injury where he literally had blood in his muscles because his arm was fucked up so bad, like
and he didn't tell anyone. No, it is so painfully obvious.
Got no money.
Because again, we're talking about a guy who's going to be a pending free agent. Of course, he wants to be out there because, especially in the playoffs, it's like if he just had one great start, and if the Sox would have lost, but he shoved, everybody would be like, "All right, here we go, Rodon, let's get him. He's good." But no, did he take the ball? I was telling you guys, there is a reason he was shut down, and they were like, "We don't know when he's coming back. Right. We don't know what he can contribute. We don't know how many innings he can throw." And especially in the playoffs, you have to know what you can get in the playoffs. They had no clue.
Although I think you made a really good point that I hadn't even thought about to this point until you just said it too. What if Carlos took the ball because he knew that the best chance he had to get the best contract in the offseason was to go out and carve, like you said, like shove, even if he wasn't at 100%, he was willing to take that risk, even if it meant. Unfortunately, even if it meant the White Sox, if he didn't have it, for him, he's going to get a contract this offseason regardless. But if he doesn't have it, the White Sox, the season's over. Did he take the ball for money and then get lit, which ended the season?
I mean, I think the Sox knew that, though. It's not. I don't think this was like a selfish thing. The Sox knew he wasn't 100%.
But I thought about that, like then why you let him go? Like,
because the Sox have it. Because you know what the other option was, Kevin? Dallas Keuchel,
our best friend.
And I mean, the thing with Rodon too, though, if you were watching Game 4, that first pitch he threw that hit 97, he like turned and was like, "Oh, I guess I got that today."
No,
like he was like.
He was throwing out of fucking shoes. He was throwing out
that
prove
was
that he could throw. He wasn't. He was trying
Mm-hmm.
to prove it. Yep. And then look at his second inning. Look at the velocity drop. It went, gone.
See, I think that was the funny thing. So his very first pitch, the double to Altuve, I think it was 92. It was later in the inning when he was hitting 97, 99. His very first pitch was like a 93 mile per hour fastball. Don't
think that because again, if you fight with Carlos Rodon on social media, people come for you. He doesn't. He knows what people are talking about on social media about what he doesn't do. He knew people were worried about his arm being dead, so he had to go show them. And that 97, that's like going out to like the, I don't know if I guaranteed rate. I'm not sure if guaranteed rate has it, but I know we have them here. Where you go to those minor league where they have like the fastest gun in the West, or like I'm gonna be some fast drinker and walk up there and just throw as hard as I can, and here's my velocity, but you walk up there and you throw 3 baseballs unstretched, having not thrown any tossing. You throw it like 47 miles an hour.
Torn labrum. Yeah.
And you're fucking, you're dead for a week. Like, the old guy's like, okay, I'm trying to type at work. I'm trying to type an email one-handed with my non-dominant hand. He might have gone out there and said, let's just chuck it down his whammy. Let's go. And then he's like, oh shit, nothing's left.
By the way, Zoe, I know this drove me crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure it drove all White Sox fans who were watching, and this has nothing to do with players or anything. Mm-hmm. This is solely just on a thing that we all do it. We all do this, things that don't matter, but we think that matter. How crazy was it in that third inning when Rodon was pitching that FS1 just suddenly lost the strike zone box?
Drove me nuts.
I was sitting there and I'm like, if I'm Zoe right now. Yeah, if I'm Zoe right now, I'm like, was that a strike? Tell me if it was in the fucking strike zone or not.
Yeah, I had to pull up the MLB app so I can see it on there, and the ump was brutal. And some pitches that people wanted for strikes were definitely balls, but I don't know. Does Correa jump on that high here the way he did if it was 99? I think didn't they say it was 97?
Yep. Well, he was 97. I think it was 97 to Bregman.
Correa said after the game, he goes, if he would have I was 100%. He went fastball, fastball, fastball. He goes, if he would have went fastball, fastball, slider, I would have fell on my face because I was sitting dead red.
Back right foot. Yep.
Yeah. He goes, I was sitting dead red, and his sequence and Correa's first at bat they went slider, 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 and his second at bat they went fastball, fastball, fastball.
Another thing too, like I really do like. With the White Sox, is Grandal calling pitches? Is Katz calling pitches? Because that you just made a great point. Like a hitter is actually going out there saying, "This is what I was looking for," and it's nowhere fucking close to what was called. So who is not seeing what a good pitch caller sees, which is what are they guessing, and who's like again? I got to know who's calling the pitches right now because if it's Grandal, that's a big fuck up right there because Correa he just basically admitted that had you thrown me one wrinkle, I was done. Nope, you came straight with the fucking here's my balls, let me show you. What are you trying to prove? And so who's calling those pitches? Who thinks that? Like who thinks?
Here's the thing though. It didn't matter what you were throwing. Curry got hits both times. He was on.
He's really good.
That's what I'm saying. Like in both times. Yeah, no, they threw him.
Oh, actually, Kevin, again, another great point because Steve Stone was also on, I think, with Lawrence Holmes. Again, shout out, great content on 670 Score. One of the points he was making as well was, and you brought it up earlier, how the blocking, like just blocking pitches in dirt, was terrible by Grandal this series. Mm-hmm. That at bat to Rodon or to Correa with the bases loaded, 2 outs, he has him 0-2. any other time, it has to be like bury the slider, right?
Yeah.
Or an unhittable ball up and under the hands.
But here's the
No,
thing.
no.
I think he did call that.
Fitz, let him get to his point, because
I think Grandal did call a high fastball. Just Rodon didn't execute. He left it a little down. But Steve Stone was saying, what has been Rodon's like filthiest pitch all season long? The back foot slider. But Steve Stone was like, if he doesn't have the confidence with the runner at third base that my catcher's going to block it, I'm not going to throw it. And it's like, well, did that force the fastball? And then there we go. We saw it just change the entire series.
Whoever's calling fastballs to a fucking fastball hitting fucking team has fucking issues. That's the problem is you are better throwing Charlie Huff at age 78, throwing knuckleballs against this Houston Astros team than you are challenging them with heat. And that's the problem is whoever was calling pitches needed to get their heads out of their ass. This series should have been a crafty series. Bring in your thumbers. Bring in your dudes that actually throw off speed because these dudes sit and rip straight ball. And whatever it's a cutter, give me your velocity. They'll give you some production. And that's the problem that I'm having. I'm like, what are we going with? Like, what are the White Sox? Who's calling? Who decided that they were going to bang their head through a wall? Again, I look at this. Look, Lance Lynn shouldn't pitch game one. We're going to pitch Lance Lynn game one. This team hits fastballs really well. Let's go in an 0-2 count. Let's go with fastball instead of off speed. Like, where is the connect with how you beat a team that it sounded like the broadcast team had a better understanding of what Houston does well and doesn't do well than the White Sox did. That's an actual issue to me, and that's not 100% of Tony La Russa. He's not the guy pouring over the data. Who's the data guy? Like, the data guy fucked up.
And shout out to Adam Wainwright, dude. That dude's money in the booth.
Oh, bravo.
Amazing. Oh, yeah.
He is very good.
God,
As a Sox fans, though, I wanted to ask you, because I think it was especially Game 4 when they were talking about, the cheating scandal and Tepera's comments. Mm-hmm. And AJ wasn't like, or I think AJ's point was like, why would Tepera say this? Like giving the bulletin board material. And then Sox fans, like for like an hour, hated AJ.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that?
Shelley Duncan? We're talking about Cheers?
No, he's the data guy on the White Sox.
He's the data guy, yeah.
I thought you were talking about the love interest from Cheers. And
Shelley Duncan was literally hired to be the guy that translate what the data means to Tony La Russa.
Was it the old pitching coach's son, or is that different?
Yeah, that was his job. And to all the people, I mean, Neil, we talked about the shift earlier in the show. Like, we talked about this data stuff all in the beginning of the show. But to talk about the AJ Przinsky stuff, like, I don't know. It almost feels like someone at TBS or TNT, whatever the fuck network it was on, was like,
FS1.
yo, FS1, whatever.
Hire them.
Yo, like, we need you to not be a White Sox homer.
I think so, yeah.
And AJ was like,
all right,
bet. And then he just went
the other way.
Like, huge exaggeration the other way with it.
I think that's a good point. Yeah.
Again,
but also I think he had a point.
Yeah.
He was. Do you think AJ would pull that kind of move like with the White Sox and the White Sox fans, knowing that like every single White Sox fan was hanging on every word of his specifically?
Well, no, rumor has it that
I think he had to be calling it as he saw it. Like, he saw some stuff too, though. He's a good catcher. He's just a dick.
Word on the street is he walked into Shinnick's after Game 4, looked at the crowd and turned around and fucking pulled a Grandpa Simpson gif with the hat, like doop 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 doop.
I saw the perfect tweet to that. It was like, so much for the AJ will never have to buy a beer in Chicago for the rest of his life. It lasted 15 years.
Yeah. And how about this? How about Chicago just shitting all over the new Bulls broadcaster too? Like, Jesus fucking hell.
I thought Adam did fine.
I saw so much like shove it up your ass, Adam. Like, oh my God.
So here's the thing, man. Here's the thing, and this is one of the reasons why
he's a bias. I'm like,
here's the thing, and here's one of the reasons why I kind of stayed off Twitter last night and after most of these losses. It's not because like, oh, they lost, I'm pouting. It's when people are angry that their team lost, when people are mad about the result of something, they tend to say really stupid shit, like even more stupid than normal.
On this, I disagree because you know what? I think that a lot of fans believe that their broadcasters should actually be homers.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm telling you right now, these dudes went to fucking school and were taught and actually believe in the field that they should be neutral observers and actual people that actually like retell the story of what's happening. They're not there to cheer for you. In fact, it's against the journalistic code of ethics to cheer against the team you're covering.
Especially when you're doing it.
They got Hawk Harrelson jerking off the White Sox, and we got the Cubs got Harry Carey jerking off the Cubs. All Chicago fans think is that you're supposed to actually like suck your team off. No, a good broadcaster is apathetic to your cause and says, "Fuck you! I don't give a shit what happens to you. This is the game. These are the numbers. This is my analysis, and that's what good journalists do." Boog or Jason Benetti. People are going to turn on Benetti one day because he's going to rip a stat out saying the Sox aren't doing what they should be based on what I've just read and researched. You know why? Because he does his job. And you can show a little bit, you can play a little bit with the crowd. But in the end, these guys, their job, these guys went to school believing in something. And as a guy that went to school believing in the same thing, they believe in objective journalism. You want opinion? Come to the podcast like this. Come listen to us fucking homer the shit out of it. But if you get a homer broadcaster, man, no. It's not we. It's them. It's it. Actually, it's it or the player's name.
The thing that people failed to realize was these guys were working for Fox Sports 1, a national network. This was a national broadcast. Jason and Steve get paid by Chicago Sports Network. Hawk got paid by Chicago Sports Network. They are paid by home teams to do home broadcast. This was a national broadcast where they need to remain as unbiased as possible.
I mean,
even the locals, it's still not okay. It's still not okay for local. Sorry. But you know what it is okay for? It's okay that Frank Thomas puts on a White Sox hat and gives his opinion in the pregame show when they're asked their opinion about the game because they're the personalities. The actual in-game calling, especially for a play-by-play guy, hell no. Their job is 100% X's and O's, ones and zeros. It's binary, man. You're not fans when you're doing that job. And I hate Joe Buck, but I don't think Joe Buck is biased. And I was pissed at.
I was going to bring that up. This reminds me of like basically all of Chicago, like or the majority of Chicago. Like as if you're a Bears fan in Chicago, you pretty much hate Joe Buck. Why is it though? Because when the Bears play the Packers, what has happened like 90% of the time the last 2 decades when the Bears play the Packers, the Bears get their ass kicked. What does an announcer have to do in a game when a quarterback is tearing it up? He's gonna say, "Hey, that quarterback looks pretty damn good." Obviously, we've had to live through that with like Brett Favre and then Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, you're gonna hear a lot about that. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe, like, yes, and it does make it worse though because it's Houston and the cheating scandal. So when Adam Amin or AJ has to praise the Astros, when they have to say Jose Altuve has had a great series, look at Carlos Correa with these big hits, they have to say what's happening. They're not gonna say, they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, Houston. I mean, they're only winning because they're cheating.
It's the same. Like, hey, look, the White Sox did not score as many runs as the Houston Astros. You son of a bitch! Like, buddy, it's the final score. I don't know what else I can tell you. Like, do you want me to say that the White Sox almost won?
And
I don't know how
the thing. That's
how can I word that? Like,
this series wasn't close.
No,
like this series wasn't close. So it's not like it could have even been like, oh, this was a hard fought. It was like, no, Houston just kicked the Sox ass. It was as simple as that.
Every game came apart at the 4th inning or beyond. Like, it really wasn't that close. Like, I hate to say that, and again, we've talked about the negative shit, by the way, a ton tonight. But we really have to cover the fact that it's 2021, and this window is absolutely fucking wide open for the White Sox. Mm-hmm. It's not sad. And I said this on a video that I posted the other night. It's not sad. It's disappointing, and you're unsatisfied. But the White Sox now are just they've been there, and they're looking at this now, and they're seeing, why did they lose to the Houston Astros? Now it's looking like the AL road to the World Series goes to the Astros. You build your team from here out to beat the Astros or whoever's going to,
maybe
what
the Astros look like next year.
Right. But you build your team to beat these teams to get there. And the White Sox don't have it. They're not in this sinking ship where someone's trying to put their fingers in all the holes that like are leaking water. Like they're actually trying to just actually upgrade a new engine. They're trying to find a better ore. They're trying to better sail. They're upgrading. They're not trying to not lose. They're trying to actually go beyond a good and successful season and make it even more successful. They're taking evolution to the next level on a positive scale. They're not downgrading. And I think that it sucks to lose. We've talked about how tough it is to win a World Series, but it's a great moment to be a White Sox fan, even if you just got knocked out. Like,
I'm good.
I know you are. There's a lot of people that are like hurt, but it's like, guys, the wait till next year should be the most exciting phrase for White Sox fans right now in their vernacular, period. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I said it as the very first thing on the show. I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. It sucks, but I can't wait to see what a full off season after the most Major League Baseball he's played does for Luis Robert. I can't wait to see the adjustments Eloy makes. I mean, his defense, like I said, got way better.
Like, how's Eloy going to look playing for the A's?
Yeah. I thought you said playing DH. I was like, yeah, sure. But
Eloy didn't die playing defense either, so he survived.
It looked actually like his defense got better. I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of positives about this team surrounding this team. Are there question marks this offseason?
You know what you're finally going to see?
Yes.
Hopefully, of like a year of Michael Kopech being in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And
they actually have something to sell free agents on too. You know, it's not, they don't have to sell free agents on like an idea of what might happen. Now they could be like, do you want to play with Luis Robert?
The important
what we got going here.
I think it's like Dave made this point after they were eliminated. The White Sox, yes, they have the holes, but like your superstars, you have your superstars. Like if the guys that are going to be superstars, you have them. You have Luis Robert. You know, you have. I know Moncada had not the season fans expected. But, we have a guy, Moncada had like a 5 WAR, or was like a top 10 third baseman in 2019. You have the makings, like you have your stars. You just need the right complementary pieces. You need the right bullpen guys, and then obviously we talked about second baseman, a right fielder, balance out the lineup. But you have your guys. I just need to find the right pieces to fill out the roster.
Yeah. Then, like I said, now you can actually call up a Marcus Semien and be like, yo, look at what we got going here. This is where you fit. If you want to play second base, like,
be like, hey,
unit.
You won't be able to play shortstop, but we'll pay you a bunch of money to play second base and be on one of the best teams in the American League. Like,
dude, yeah. You want to fucking cruise to another fucking division title and like, you know what I mean? Like, you put him in that lineup at second base. Holy fuck, man.
The same thing with like Castellanos. Like, hey, Castellanos, you want to come hit 40 bombs on the south side?
You really don't even got to do shit in right field. Luis will fucking cover 95% of the outfield. You just got to fucking hit.
That actually plays well with Castellanos too. And the dude could be like, hey, and plus you love Chicago and Chicago loves you. He would be a huge hit with White Sox fans in right field by the 108 every fucking night.
Nope. So, all right, guys, I got to bounce. You guys got anything you want to final thought at this? Like Jerry Springer, final thoughts?
Just want to say the word Cubs. Okay, so we talked about the Cubs. There we go.
They got a lot of shit they got to do.
Cubs have.
That's another episode for another week.
Cubs are going to be a pitching machine the next 10 years. Watch out.
We'll have some guests on. We'll do a full show dedicated to the Cubs offseason coming up.
We'll get some prospects.
Do we want to finish this off? Like any predictions for the playoffs?
Go Red Sox for me. I really want
the Red Sox Braves.
Yeah, Cubs hired a GM today who's 37.
Yeah,
Cleveland guy seem to like.
From Cleveland, a scout turned like assistant turned at that age. He must be pretty.
Guy, get on the phone. What does Cleveland want for Shane Bieber?
He's probably the guy that builds pitching, so let's rock.
Yeah.
I get it. Cleveland rocks.
Go Giants, by the way. So go Giants.
Yeah,
You got Giants
I would
versus
love
Red Sox?
a Giants Red Sox World Series would definitely be an MLB soggy dream because you got the whole East and West Coast historical franchises, great ballparks. I mean, they would really hype that up. I just
You're
want
gonna have the
Houston.
hate-watching Yankee fans watch the Red Sox, and the
Right.
hate-watching Dodgers fans. Yeah.
I just
And
want
we hate
Houston
the
to get their
Giants
shit.
because they used to be in New York too.
Yeah.
I want Houston to get fucking smacked. I like this Red Sox team too.
By the way,
I like the guys on this team. I think it's a good team.
Strange factoid: 3 of the 4 teams that will be playing in the postseason after this round will be teams that actually are from New York. Giants? No, sorry, no, just Giants and Dodgers. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I forgot it was the Red Sox, not the Yankees.
Well, in Boston, it used to be Boston Braves, right?
Boston Braves, correct?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like the Red Sox. I don't know how far their pitching is going to take them. The pitching's definitely sus, as the kids say. I would love for the Giants. I mean, I really don't have a horse in the National League race.
You have a horse. You love the horse that you rooted for the Cubs for.
Yeah, I mean,
No, Zoe was rooting for Jock. What are you talking about?
Right, Zoe.
No, I was more rooting for.
No.
I was more rooting for Rizzo, to be honest with you, because Rizzo was my dude because of what he did at the Children's Hospital while my brother was there and shit. Like, I was always down with Rizzo.
You were down with Kate.
Oh no, I'm a big Chris Bryant fan. I think Chris Bryant's a hell of a ball player, and I mean, obviously, I've done 400 shows with you, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about him every episode. And
we did,
I mean, and I like the Giants. I always like the team that no one saw coming with a bunch of guys. Like I would be hard pressed to name players on the Giants still. And to see Evan Longoria score the sole fucking run against Max Scherzer to win a 1-0 game against the Dodgers.
By the way, that was one of the best. That's my favorite postseason game I've seen in like 3 years. That I know it's a 1-0 game, but I don't know how many moments there was like a ball that was hit where everybody like got to their feet. We're like, oh,
Brandon Crawford. No, Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts thought he like tied the game, and then Brandon Crawford just let me snatch that.
Oh God! It was in a 6-hole too, man. That was. We're gonna move the mound. We're gonna move the rubber back a foot. We don't want that because that was fucking awesome. Sorry, I just think about the Atlantic League right now. Moving. It
was a great game, and it was just that was
great
dope.
pitching matchup for Game 5. 2 young lefties.
Wait. I was going to say, what's the pitching matchup for the...
I think it's Logan Webb against Urias.
I'm sure you'll see Scherzer in some sort of capacity in that game if it's close.
You know what?
Bad. I'm coming
the White Sox should trade Kimbrel to the Dodgers for Gavin Lux.
Okay.
They're not using him.
Well, the Dodgers
he started the other
game. No, that's Pollock.
But they got Trey Turner.
Wait, actually, Kevin, I'd do that if I was the Sox. AJ Pollock is solid.
AJ Pollock, he's always been one of those guys that's just been solid.
He's just kind of been injured, but he's solid.
Fine, they can keep Gavin Lux. Just give us Trey Turner. You don't fucking love him. You just met him. You don't love him. Send him to us. We will give him a home. That would be sick.
Would you do that if he's like, okay, I'm coming, but I have to play shortstop?
No, because
he's a better defensive shortstop.
Oh, he's better than Tim,
and he hits just as good, if not better.
Right, but you don't make that deal. Tim's under a very team-friendly contract.
Don't get into that. I have to have all of it. You can't have all of it.
I'll just say one thing. If
I can have fucking fun, dude. I can start joking around with hypothetical trades. I know you get really mad at this shit, but I'm just fucking around. I don't think the White Sox are going to get Trey Turner, dude.
Why not?
What?
Last question. Last question, Zoe.
Yeah, I get it, dude. I'm fucking around.
Your knees. Like you.
I've seen
you. You look like shit. Like your knees look really bad. Are you okay?
You can't
Obviously, this is hindsight. But if you could do it all again, would you advise Rick Hahn or whoever made the decision, Tony La Russa, the pitching
to not sign Adam Eaton? Yes.
Well, that one too. But when they did the Craig Kimbrel deal, looking back now, would you be like, hey, Liam, love ya, Craig's our closer? Or do you think it wouldn't have mattered? He would have struggled anyway.
I really don't think it would have mattered. I'm not of that train of thought. I mean, they could have tried it a little bit more, I guess, but I don't think that would have mattered as much as people think.
Well,
You know
before
what
we
the
close
funny
it
thing
up,
is, though? Every player kind of says it did. Like Adam Wainwright was like, and AJ Przinsky, they're like, yeah, no, closers are weird. When you take them out of a closer or out of a safe situation, for whatever reason, they struggle.
Jordan Miller. That's called the Jordan Miller argument, right there. That's it's an actual scientific term.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Jordan.
Well, Jordan also thinks somehow if AJ Przinsky calls the game, the White Sox don't score.
So hey, so as a teacher here, I do need one last thing.
Wait, the White Sox don't score. Or they don't allow runs.
They don't score.
Oh,
I need you to give a grade to.
Oh, Houston doesn't score.
I need an owner grade. Let's see, president and GM, president, GM, manager, pitching coach, hitting coach grade for the organization.
I got, like one grade for all of them?
No. So grade Gary.
I got I don't got time for this shit.
Go down the mafia, the mafia like blueprint that like you see on The Sopranos. Like, they're moving pictures.
Let's just narrow it down.
Yeah, narrow it down because I got to bounce. This is already an hour.
Okay, I promise. Last two because I had them on the graphic.
No, I have a date with a 1-year-old.
Specifically, do you want Tony La Russa back in 2022?
No.
Oh.
Number 2, do you want Frank Minichino back
No.
as the hitting coach? All right, yeah, there you go.
Number 3, do you want Katz back?
Who?
Katz.
Pitching coach.
Yeah, I'm good with him.
Do you want Jerry back?
No choice. No choice.
You want Rick Hahn back?
No choice there either.
Hahn completely fucked this trade deadline. His trade deadline was not good.
1 for 3.
And do you want
Hall of Fame numbers?
And do you want Kane guy back?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And Matty Mitch, you know I love you, Matty Mitch. I'm a big fan of yours, dude. You're a good man. People need to stop saying Bruce Bochy. Bruce Bochy's 110 years old. He's not coming out of retirement.
We also need to spell it right.
I don't care about that.
Kidding, Matty. I love you.
But he's not coming out of retirement. I see his name getting tossed around he might come out of retirement for San Diego because it's San Diego. But
he's like, what's his name from the Pittsburgh Steelers? What's his name?
Bill Cowher.
Yeah, he's
going to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, he'll come out of retirement for this team. No, he won't. Menichino he can bounce, dude.
He's fired. Menichino's fired.
His whole philosophy on hitting just didn't.
Wait, guys! I thought we all loved let's hit 300, not home runs. What happened to that, guys?
Nobody hit 300. That was the problem. And
it's a great idea.
Luis Robert hit like 460 in the playoffs. TA hit like 357.
Look. You can have the idea, but you have to be able to coach it too. You can't just say this is the idea and not actually give.
That's not how you win in the playoffs.
Leads to it like that's great. Like I love driving 140 miles an hour. I don't have a car that does that though, so I love it. But I'm not going to do it. A coach needs to be able to actually say this is my philosophy, but here's how I teach it. Like he hasn't taught it. Like it's not happening. His idea in his head, he could say it out loud, and the guys could go, "I'll try and do that," but. He's not actually looking at their swings and figuring out how to actually make it happen. And that is a problem.
Good old Frank.
All right, guys. Although I'm Pinwheels and Ivy, make sure you are subscribing to the YouTube channel. We're gonna do some things this off season. We're gonna get creative with it. We're gonna have a lot of guests on. We're gonna bring back. We're gonna try to have a guest almost weekly in the off season just to keep things fresh, if you will.
Should we do a running joke and keep inviting My Sox Summer and Beefloaf, but not Chirizi?
He was invited.
Oh no, wait! But now that because he couldn't do it, now we invite just them too.
Or we could just keep. We could keep doing Kimmel and what was it? It was Kimmel and
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon with Treasy. Every time we'll bring on Beef and we'll bring on Mike Summer, and then
we'll do segments. We'll just be like,
"Yo,
we're out of time.
We're out of time. Sorry, bud." We'll just keep doing that to him.
No one say this to them. We're gonna do this at least one time.
That would be fucking hilarious.
We'll stop the stream and have a backup stream to start again, but we should be "Oh, we're out of time. We have to end it."
And it's currently 9:50 p.m. on Wednesday night. If you're
reminder,
be over in the Blackhawk Colorado game, it's already 3-1 Colorado. So
reminder to follow, rate, review all the things with the YouTube stuff. And then what was Oh, never mind. I won't go there.
Shout out Tainted Glove.
Oh, that too. We're going live. Oh, we're going live. Hey, the Tainted Glove's going for our first live show next Monday night. So if you guys want to really embarrass Pete.
Bears Steelers, Monday Night Football?
Wait, Bears? Playing the Packers. Packers weekend.
Oh, they said next Monday night. Oh, okay, never mind.
Like, yeah, good. Well, this next, I guess, is it this?
Okay.
What?
Well, they play Sunday, but yeah.
Yeah, Sunday morning at 10 a.m. too. Oh, good. That's early. All right, here.
All right, so end of the show. You've been meaning to.
Get out of here. Let's go.
Yeah. All right.
Close this shit up. God, we're making small talk over here.
Later, guys.
What are you doing Friday night? So it's pretty sweet.